Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Welcome back to TalkNorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. Talk North is everywhere. Michael is in Florida in his old stomping grounds and near places where I've spent a lot of my time. I am still in Seattle following the Vikings game on Monday night, one of my favorite cities. And I actually looked down from the Space Needle, Michael, and saw the new hockey arena being built. It's really weird to me that Seattle's going to have a hockey team and not a basketball team. I talked about that with John Krasinski, but what a great city to be in.
Yeah, and I think it's they're taking Key Arena and they basically blew it out and are essentially building a new arena on using the Key Arena skeleton, if I understand it. And
that is right.
And it's supposedly going to be absolutely unbelievable. When we were at the draft in Vancouver, I talked to Lewicki a lot about what's going on in Seattle, and he was absolutely proud of the job they're doing with this arena down there. So it's going to be fun. 2021, it'll be here before we know it. A couple of years, we'll be talking about an expansion draft, and
you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, frankly, it's like Wild fans might have to stomach another loss of a key youngster. I mean, they're going to have to make a serious decision. The no move clause given to Matt Zuccarello means the Wild are going to have to expose probably somebody that they do not want to, and we'll see what happens there.
We have a new sponsor on the program and on the network, Grey Duck Vodka. That's Chad Greenway's new company. They are everywhere, and now they are working with us. We're going to try to do some cool stuff with them as we move forward. Tell you more about them later. This is the Michael Russo Show, also the Russo-Souhan Show. Really just the Russo Hockey Show is probably what we should be calling it. Thanks to our producer, Brandon Morton. Follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod for some deals we have coming up and some expansion news we're going to be announcing in the next couple of months. And, of course, we'll tell you more about Grey Duck Vodka, and we'll try to work in some specials and things like that. Thanks to our other sponsors, Twill in the Dining Galleria, Fixology Repair, Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent, and Tin Shed. Our next 2 live shows at Tin Shed in Savage are December 11th and 30th at 7 p.m. Please come out and have a good time with us. Maybe we'll do something special with Grey Duck at one of those shows. And also thank you to Bite Squad. The promo code is TalkNorth if you want to use that and get a delivery fee waived. All right, let's start with what is kind of consuming NHL talk right now, which is Babcock, Crawford, abusive coaches. You're the expert. I'm just going to let you take that where you want to go.
Well, I mean, it's just an interesting time in the league now. This started with Babcock and Mike Commodore really going after him and publicly, and then all of a sudden, the Mitch Marner story came out where he basically had Mitch Marner write down the players on the team that he thought didn't work the hardest, and then not only did he do this to a young rookie, a future star, but then Babcock delivered it to the team. Absolutely stupid move to do. And more stuff has come out about Babcock now. Johan Franzen went public in Sweden about just how much he despised life at the end as a Detroit Red Wing. This is one of the most proudest, one of the proudest Red Wings in history. And the fact that his career ended in miserable fashion is a shame. And, Babcock, as a lot of people like to say to him, the guy that thinks he invented hockey, he's just he's dealing with the public perception now of just being just a bad guy. I mean, and there's been lots of it. I mean, just imagine, you got to be a special kind of jerk to take Mike Modano in his last regular season game, what would have been his 1500th NHL game, and scratch him. I mean, that's a special kind of jackass move right there. And so Mike Modano ends his career by being a healthy scratch and playing 1,499 games. I mean, if that doesn't say everything right there, I don't know what does. Then Peters, similar stuff comes out. Not only that he used racial slur on Akeem Alou back in when he played for Rockford in the American League 10 years ago, but then in Carolina, the fact that he physically assaulted players on the bench and things like that. Now he's lost his job in Calgary. Rod Brindamore came out, the coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, admitted that it happened, said that they addressed it with Ron Francis, the GM at the time, and Peter Karmanos, the owner at the time. I've talked to players that were around that team, and they like, one, the way that Rod Brindamore explained it, and two, agree with him that it was dealt in a proper fashion at the time. But Peters is now gone. Now all of a sudden, same stuff is coming out with Mark Crawford. I heard a story today about a coach that grabbed a player by the throat, put him up against and I'd be shocked if this doesn't come out. I don't want to say who it is, because it was hearsay, but a player that was on this team at the time said that he grabbed another player by the throat, put him up against a wall, took a coffee pot, looked like he was going to hit this player in the head with a glass coffee pot, and instead hit the wall next to the player's head and shattered it all over the place. So we're at the day and age now where all these players that didn't have social media at the time, that are now retired and have nothing to lose, are seemingly systematically going one by one after coaches for bizarre behavior back in the day. I covered Mike Keenan here in Florida, and I could tell you story after story of stuff that Keenan did that was very manipulative and issues with young European players. I wrote about one instance where Mike Keenan put Christian Huselius, I wrote this at the time years ago, put Christian Huselius on a folding chair in the middle of the locker room and absolutely undressed him in front of everybody. And it just absolutely destroyed this guy, and players had to get involved there and stop that from happening. It just all of a sudden, things that might have been the norm back in the day are just coming out because players have nothing to lose anymore and are just going after these coaches. So, you almost wonder what's next. I'm sure there are a lot of coaches right now thinking, God, what did I do back in the day that wouldn't be accepted in today's day and age?
Do you think hockey is different or worse than most other sports?
I honestly think it's the same. I mean, maybe I'm out to lunch, but you think that Chuck Daly didn't do crazy stuff to his players? We see how football coaches act. I just think that now hockey's the one where players are willing to go public with this. I can tell you that I've talked to a lot of players this week that aren't happy that players are just taking to Twitter about it. There are proper avenues to go. And I'm not blaming these people. These people felt like they were abused and they can deal with it whatever they want. But there are proper avenues that you can go through the NHL and the NHLPA if you feel like there were wrongdoings done against you. At the time and after the fact. So, I just think that coaches, professional coaches, a lot of them sometimes cross the line, and maybe back in the day it wouldn't be considered crossing the line. I'm going to have Lou Nanny on one of my podcasts on Wednesday, and Lou was telling me over dinner last night some things that Mariucci did to him that today would not be allowed, and frankly, he deep down doesn't think it was a big deal. I mean, stuff about punching him in the head even and things like that, physically assaulting him. So we'll talk about that actually on Wednesday's podcast.
But that is something, I know that old school people take pride in that. Hey, I survived it. You should be able to survive it. It just shouldn't exist, though. It shouldn't happen. And just because somebody was able to get through it doesn't mean it was the right thing for somebody to have done to them. Yeah,
no doubt. And certain players can take it. Certain players can. I mean, again, I come back to Keenan, who is probably the hardest coach that I've ever had to deal with, both with players and frankly to the media. He and I had many run-ins. We get along now, but at the time it was not comfortable covering him because I wrote what I saw. And the one crazy thing about Keenan is he always had guys that he would essentially go after. He had the doghouse line in Florida. That was Christian Huselius, Valerie Bure, and Matt Cullen. These are three good players, but what was crazy is he would just pick and needle, and it was unbelievable how he treated Val Bure, and yet Pavel Bure, Val's brother, was on the same team, and he treated Pavel like absolute gold. So it's like deep down in Keenan's mind, he didn't even care that he was terrorizing one brother, but not the other. It was crazy stuff. And so, I do think the coaches got away with a lot of things back then that there's just no way they could now, with the media attention, with social media, with the fact that players are courageous now and have these voices that they're willing to say whatever. And so now the league's got, the league's got a lot of work to do, because they're going to probably, more of these stories are going to come out. I will say that I've looked at a couple of social media accounts in the last couple of days of players that I know had wrongdoings done against them, including the one that I heard about today with the coffee pot, just to see if they're going public, because it's just, you just almost expect it now.
Yeah, we're going to get to Twitter questions. We're going to get to Fiala and Koivu and some wild issues, of course. I do want to thank Twill in the Edina Galleria. I'm wearing my favorite Twill traveling shirt now. It's a Peter Millar shirt. It looks like a really nice dress shirt. You could wear it with a tie. You could wear it with jeans. I wear it when I travel because it's kind of that athletic stretch material, so it looks like a dress shirt. It feels like, a sweatshirt or something like that. Check it out at twillmn.com or Twill Edina on Instagram. I'm here with my wife, Stacy. We went to Twill in the Edina Galleria the other day. We saw Scott Dayton, and I bought the nicest sport jacket I've ever owned, the most comfortable pants I've ever owned. They're Brax. A nice pair of loafers that I can wear to the ballpark. I think they're called Tracks. And I bought a bunch of Stenstrom short sleeve shirts to go with my Stenstrom nice dress shirts. And, I used to wear just disposable clothes. Now when I buy something, I buy it at Twill. I know it's going to last me the rest of my life, and it's going to be comfortable.
And on top of that, it's not just the best stuff you've ever had, but it's really everyday ththings that you can wear and that will fit all occasions.
Twill in the Edina Galleria, twillmn.com, Twill on Instagram. I want to get to, we might go back.
The other thing just on this subject, Jim, is I would love your opinion on like right now, do you think that these guys' careers are over? Could Mike Babcock, one of the most decorated coaches in NHL history from the standpoint of winning Stanley Cups and gold medals, Bill Peters, who's been hired by Hockey Canada 1,000 times, Mark Crawford, who's been around absolutely forever, was Colorado's coach when they won the Stanley Cup against Florida here in 1996, and I can't remember, he was either coaching Colorado or Vancouver in 2003 when the Wild played them. Do you think that they should never work again because of this? Because I gotta be honest, I don't know who hires them now. If you've got to deal now with the backlash of fans and media if you go and give them a job.
If I were in the hockey business, I would not hire them. Sitting where I sit, I would say I don't think they should work again. I think there are some lines you do not cross. Yeah. And listen, there are old school coaches in every sport. But Bill Belichick never touches his players. I think the only two sports these days where you might have a head coach actually get physical with a player are hockey and college football, because hockey is a tough, violent sport, and college football coaches think they are royalty and they think they can get away with anything. I don't think you would see it happen in any other sport, and I think in most sports the player would just beat the crap out of the coach if it happened these days.
Yeah, no, it is. It's unbelievable. And Bill Peters, I gotta think he's done. And he's. You remember when I wrote last year in the game that Matt Dumba got hurt when Bill Peters out of the blue just starts talking like smack on the ice to guys like Zach Parise and Eric Stahl, who played for him in Carolina, and that was the type of stuff that just infuriated Wild players at the time. Bill is the guy that sent, when Dumba had a clean hit, or what the league deemed a clean hit, on Michael Backlund in that Calgary game a week before the rematch, he sent the guy over the boards to go and jump Matt Dumba, and wound up fined $10,000 because of it. Because the guy was, I can't remember the player's name, but he's on the ice in the final minute and instigated a fight. In the NHL, you get a 1-game suspension and also a $10,000 fine for the coach if you instigate a fight in the last 5 minutes. It's Bill Peters seems like an absolute piece of work. There's no doubt about it.
Man, we have a lot to get to here. This is a fairly tight show because Michael's on a schedule, so am I. We do want to, once again, welcome and thank Grey Duck Vodka. Again, Chad Greenway's new vodka company. I personally can highly recommend the vodka tonic as an underrated drink, the vodka soda. Chad would only be involved with a high-quality product. We'll be telling you more about his company and his product as we move forward.
When we asked you to get the duck out, wow, did you respond? Grey Duck Vodka is now in over 1,500 locations and expanding every day. This is Chad Greenway, and I just want to say thank you for making Grey Duck Minnesota's vodka. With the wonderful ingredients from Minnesota farmers, Grey Duck is gluten-free and has won 3 gold medals for taste. For all upcoming events and a list of locations carrying Grey Duck, head to greyduckspirits.com.
Please drink responsibly. Grey Duck Spirits, LLC, Lakeville, Minnesota.
Get the duck out.
So my first wild hockey question for you is, are we seeing something promising now out of Fiala?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I don't think this is just a hot streak. I think that we're just seeing a different, confident player, and to me, it was starting before he was getting points. There does seem to be this fallacy because there are times where he turns pucks over and doesn't want to put himself sometimes in harm's way. I think because of the mental block that he has from the broken femur, that he doesn't want to go into high traffic areas. But I've seen somebody that all year long has put himself in positions where he can absolutely get demolished. So I just see somebody that's trying to work a lot harder, go into tough areas, go to the net. As Zach Parise said the other day, accompany him on the forecheck, dig out loose pucks. And then all of a sudden, because of that now, the points are starting to come. The goals are starting to come. 13 points in the last 14 games coming into tonight's game in Florida. So, I just love the way he's playing and from different, avenues, not just offensively, but even away from the puck, which is the area where Bruce Boudreau has really impressed upon him to really start to be a better player. And, the other thing about Fiala that I really like right now is that he is starting to protect the puck a lot better. He doesn't give it away nearly as much, but there are times where he's still going to give it away. I mean, he is a skilled player, and skilled players sometimes don't take care of the puck well. We saw that with Gaborik. We saw that I saw that with Pavel Bure 1,000 times. I mean, these guys, if you're going to expect high risk, high reward plays, you're going to have to deal with the risk sometimes. But what I like is that Boudreau, after really benching him that one game, the last 8 minutes, I believe it was a home game recently too, like 7-8 minute games ago, where I just thought it was bizarre because I thought that Fiala was great the first 2 periods, and then he had 1 defensive zone turnover and didn't play the last 8 games. Ever since then, I give Bruce credit because he's just put that behind him. He understands that there's going to be times that he turns the puck over and doesn't seem to hold it against him. He continues to throw him out on the ice.
What can you tell us about Devin Dubnyk's situation? I know I'm not asking you to say anything that you shouldn't say or reveal anything private, but is there any more to say about it right now?
Well, no, I mean, just the fact that what we wrote the other day is that he's dealing with his wife is having serious health issues right now. I haven't talked to him since he talked to the media the other day, if they've gotten to the bottom of what it is, but at that time they didn't know what it is. It is very scary stuff. It happened the night that he got back from Buffalo the first time. They thought she was was making strides, and then apparently had another incident where something happened and took a setback. So this is a tough situation too, because Devin, the Wild are on the road now. He's not going to be with them this week. Then the Wild come back for a homestand. He'll practice, but then they go again on the road to Chicago, Vegas, and Arizona. So the question is, when you're not with the team on the road, and then all of a sudden, and I'm sure he's riding the bike and probably getting on the ice with Andy Ness and things like that. But if you're not on the road practicing and dealing with that, even when you come home and get into practice, when is it possible that Bruce Boudreau and the Wild can feel comfortable to throw him in a game when he's just going through spurts where he's not on the ice with the team? So I think that we're going to see Kaapo Kähkönen here for a little bit now. And then after Christmas, the good news is that the Wild, for about 7 weeks, only have about 3 or 4 one-game trips on the road. They go to Colorado, they go to Pittsburgh, they go to Calgary, and I think they go to Dallas. So because of that, those home stretches, maybe there's a point where Devin can get into a routine and be on the ice, even if for some reason he doesn't feel comfortable still to travel. So, Capo Kakinen gets the start tonight here in Florida. Alex Stalock is scheduled to start in Tampa and Carolina. Now, if Capo has a great game tonight, maybe that changes. I gotta think that Stalock starts in Tampa. One, it's a high offense team, but the other thing with the not last year when the Wild were there, because that was Dubnyk's game and he played marvelous, but the season before in Tampa, I'm almost positive that Stalock was outstanding that game. I think it was a 2-0 loss, but the goal came in the last 4 or 5 minutes, and he was outstanding. So I got to think he'll start there. And then all bets are off on who starts in Carolina. It could depend on the outcomes here in Florida and Tampa. Carolina's building. It's a tough place to play. They're getting crowds now. The Wild never play well there. So it'll be interesting to see the way the Wild end this road trip in Carolina on Saturday night.
Fixology Repair, fixologyrepair.com. They've been sponsoring the program for a long time, and they do great work. They have the mothership at the Mall of America, 3rd floor by Nordstrom's. They have the new office near the Wild offices in downtown St. Paul in the Skyway. They are in the Minneapolis Skyway, right above Crown Bank, downtown Minneapolis. Check them out.
Hi, this is John with Fixology Repair. For the better part of a decade, we've been privileged to serve you for all of your jewelry, watch, and smartphone repair needs at the Mall of America. Since Minnesotans largely hate going to the mall, we expanded 2 years ago to reach you in the Minneapolis Skyway. And now this year, we're pleased to announce we have a new location at Wells Fargo Place in the St. Paul Skyway. All 3 shops are equipped to help with your watch and cell phone repair needs on site, while all jewelry, computer, and game consoles will be completed at the Mall of America store. Please bring us your repair challenges, and don't forget to mention the Talk North podcast for a 10% discount on all of our services.
So how cool was it for you to cover? I know, you had a long and sometimes pretty interesting relationship with Mikko Koivu. What was it like to cover him, his 1,000th game with him scoring the shootout winner?
It was cool to see. And, it's funny, I had a long conversation with him this morning because it was in 2001, 18 and a half years ago, that he was drafted right here in South Florida. And he reminded me, I was covering Florida at the time. They drafted Stephen Weiss, I believe, that year. And Mikko went 6th overall. But I was telling him stories about how the Wild legitimately, the folk tale is that the Wild lied to Bob Nagley and told him that they were taking Mike Komisarek, and they were hoping that Nagley would go tell Molson, who I believe at the time was the owner of the Canadiens and friends with Nagley, and that wouldn't keep his mouth shut. So that would get back to Montreal that they were taking Komisarek because they were so worried that Montreal was going to hop over the Wild and take Mikko because he was Saku Koivu's brother, obviously the Canadiens captain at the time. So it was a bunch of lies the Wild did to make sure that Montreal didn't go over them. But, Mikko told me that week he was the only of the first round picks that did not go to the combine that year in Toronto. And so when he got to Florida, he was just jam packed. He knew very little English at the time, but he had to do all his interviews and testing down here at Florida right prior to the draft. So he met with just 20, 25 teams. And he just said by the time that it got to the draft, he was absolutely exhausted. But to get to your original question, it was fun. I mean, look, I know that Mikko, some people love him, some people hate him, some people are indifferent, some people are tired of him, even if they love them. But I think anybody that has any sort of respect or appreciation for what this guy's done in his career had to be happy the way that thing ended the other night. I mean, that stuff just doesn't happen to the Wild, where 1,000th game and the guy gets his 700th point to move into 5th all time amongst Finns, but then to get the shootout winner on the same move that he's been using forever, that he really introduced to the shootout when it came into play in the NHL. It's just a storybook ending that usually we don't get those easy hand-delivered stories with the Minnesota Wild. So it was pretty cool, and now it'll be interesting what happens with his future here. Does Billy Guerin at the end of this year feel like he wants to re-sign Mikko for a year? Does he look at maybe, if the Wild are out of it, a trade deadline going to Mikko and see if he's willing to waive his no move and go somewhere else? Even if he doesn't go somewhere else, does he sign somewhere at the end of as a free agent if the Wild aren't interested in bringing him back? Or is he so so adamant that he only wants to wear a Wild jersey that he's willing to retire this summer? These are all questions that we're going to have to decide, see by the end of the year. I talked to Saku for a long time on the phone last week, and I broached the subject with him, and he personally doesn't see Mikko being willing to play anywhere else. He thinks that it's Minnesota or bust, whether it's past the season or just this season. And we'll see if that holds true.
I know players love comfort, and I know Mikko is taking great pride in being part of the Minnesota Wild organization and being a leader and all those things. But God, you almost wish somebody would go to him and say, Mikko, you might love it someplace else. You might win a cup. You might have the best time of your life. You might make 18 new friends. I mean, I know I've talked to athletes over the years, especially in baseball, where I don't want to. I like it here. I don't want to leave the Twins, and then they go play for somebody else. They go, God, that was great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Mikko's the type of person that might just want to just not play elsewhere. He's made a lot of money. I don't see him. The one thing I will say, I'd be shocked if he was willing to move is no move. I say, like, what was cool the other day, things that fans don't get to see, is right after the game, right after his press scrum the other day, Mikko all of a sudden turned into a dad. And, his son is sitting at his stall playing with Alex Stalock's son. And and he's telling him to behave and be nice to Alex Stalock's son. And, it's like stuff like that. And just looking at that whole scene, I just can't see Mikko wanting to chase a cup for 2 months somewhere else and leave his 3 kids behind and his wife behind. I just don't see why that would be worth it to him. And so, and the one thing that I think that all fans, whether you love him or hate him, you have to respect the fact of how much he loves Minnesota. Like, this guy should have his number hang in place of the number 1 fans, by the way. Take that stupid thing down and put up number 9 as your first number being retired eventually when he's done here, because this guy lives and breathes for this team. And whether that pisses you off or not, you have to respect how much he loves Minnesota and playing for the Wild. And I do. I think it's a cool thing. And the other thing that I thought was great the other night was the real reaction of his teammates when he scored the winner, the way they mobbed him, the way that Parise was part of that. What it tells you is that this team is getting closer. Now, a lot of it has to do with their respect for their captain. A lot of it has to do with that they're winning, so that breeds closeness to a team. But the other thing that it has to do with is Billy Guerin and Bruce Boudreau and Craig Leopold and the stuff that they did before the season to take a locker room that was starting to get very fractured and bring it together. Billy Guerin, I don't want to say let me just say it like this. I don't want to say that he took everybody to task, but he made it very clear before training camp even began, when he systematically, along with Craig Leopold, took every single player leader of this team to lunch to, 1, investigate what was going on in this locker room, but 2, to impress upon them how important it was for this team to be close and that you cannot be individuals. And if you want to go to a place that this organization has never been, you need to seal up this room. And these players took it to heart. And so I give Leopold and Guerin a lot of credit for that. But then the going to, Boudreau's idea of going to Vail and Guerin taking these guys together and again, bringing these guys together. They brought in somebody to talk to the team in terms of a motivational speaker who talked to them, by the way, again, the other night in New York, the other morning in New York. I think this is the type of stuff that, because it is a very different room right now. I mean, I see these guys. I know the players that sometimes don't love each other, and it's not that way anymore. And I just think that's a really cool thing. And I just think it was important for the fans, for lack of a better term, the Koivu haters the other day, to genuinely see that this team, these players, love Mikko. I mean, it is just that simple. There might be times where, like everybody, he drives you crazy. Sometimes he drives me crazy. And God knows he and I have had our run-ins. But there, as somebody I really respect once told me, I'd much rather be respected than liked. And at the very minimum, I think what that showed you the other day is how much respect he's got inside that locker room.
Good stuff. Hey, I want to thank Tony Hoaglund, Hoaglund, your State Farm agent, works out of Champlin. He handles my insurance, handles Michael's insurance. We don't live in Champlin. We work with Tony very easily. We can highly recommend him as a guy and as an insurance agent.
Hi, Talk North listeners. I wanted to let you all know about State Farm's new program called Quotes for Good. We partner with local nonprofits to raise money for great causes. For the Russo-Souhan show, I'll be donating $16 to the Jason and Carly Zucker Give 16 campaign that benefits the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital. When you call in, be sure to mention the show so that we can track the donations. You can reach us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at champlaininsurance.com.
All right, let's hit some Twitter questions. Let's buzz through these. From Adam Jones, will Stalock remain the starter when Dubnyk comes back? Team is playing well behind him and not necessarily doing that with Dubs.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see at that time. I don't want to say that now. I would say that the team is playing much better with Stalock and net. I think a lot of that is because of his playmaking and the confidence they have right now in, when I say playmaking, I mean puck handling, his ability to come out, stop forechecks, stuff like that. And they are confident with him in net, and Dubnyk was starting to break down, and there was not a lot of confidence with him. So I think the longer that Dubnyk's out, the more likely that Stalock is going to get a lot of the starts. I mean, at some point, Dubnyk will go back into the net. Fans have to accept that. But if he struggles again, then all of a sudden you got to go with Stalock. I mean, I don't think there's any coincidence right now that this team is playing a lot better with Stalock in net. Subject to change, I got to think that Stalock's going to have an in to play a lot of games once Dubnyk's back.
From Alec, if you were to bet on any Minnesota team to win it all, which one has the best odds right now?
That I'll let you answer.
I would say the Twins. They won 101 games last year. They probably are 2 or 3 arms short and maybe a little hitting maturity short. That's not a huge gap to bid. I don't think the Vikings are in position. The Wild isn't in position. The Wolves are still a long way away. I think that's pretty easy. From Nikolai, what would it take to have the Wild make a significant trade during the season? No-brainer win, or would fair value work?
It's hard for me to speculate, especially, just like all of you, we have to see how Bill Guerin proceeds. It's going to be new to me too. When you cover a GM, you get used to his tendencies, and with Chuck, I felt like I always knew when he was up to something. Same thing really last year with Paul Fenton, and with Billy, we haven't seen him make a trade yet. I mean, the trade that he made, the minor league trade during August, even though it says GM Billy Guerin announced, I mean, those trades were made by Chris O'Hearn and Tom Curvers. Same thing with the Eriksson Ek signing. I mean, Billy has not yet done that type of thing yet. So, I don't know. Everything can change so quick. A month ago, we thought this team was going to be blown up. Now, all of a sudden, they could be gearing for something in terms of making the playoffs. I mean, right now in the Western Conference, too, even if you sneak in, the only team I'd be concerned about if I was Minnesota was Colorado. I think everybody else is highly beatable this year, especially if you're getting goaltending. So who knows? We have to see where this team is next month in early February to determine the path that Billy Guerin's going to take. But this absolutely buys him time right now to try to get a little more opportunity to figure out exactly who these players are, because there are guys right now playing great that Billy would have traded for nothing about a month ago, which is why fans should always understand when they say, what's Billy waiting for? This is what Billy's waiting for. You can't just in the month of October say Donato's garbage, Fiala's garbage, Parise sucks, Suter, we got to get out of here, blah, 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 blah. You got to give a guy time. I mean, I'm telling you, Kevin Fiala that could have been traded for nothing a month ago. Now, what would fans do if Kevin Fiala was traded? They'd freak. So this is why you have to allow a new GM time to evaluate. The problem last year is that Fenton took the first 2-3 months to evaluate and then blew things up. And I think the last thing that Wild fans are going to want that to happen is for Billy Guerin to proceed on the same course and not get fair value in return. So you need to really understand what these players are capable of, but two, what the value should be for each player before you actually start to move them. And I think what happened last year is that Paul Fenton looked at guys like Granlund, Coyle, Niederreiter, and Zucker, and I'm including Zucker in that, and said, these guys stink. I want to get rid of them, and I'll take anything for them. Now, the Granlund for Fiala trade might wind up being an absolute home run here. It certainly looks like it's heading that way. And we'll see on the others.
From our friend Bill, looking ahead to Summers. Oh, we got an expansion question. This is awesome.
And so, just by the way, real quick, another one is Eriksson Ek. Like, Eriksson Ek was available to anybody about a month ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know this for a fact. And right now, I mean, yes, he can't score for the life of him. This guy is turning into one heck of a player right now. And now I say this, we might see Barkov light him up like a Christmas tree tonight. But because remember last year, Barkov lit him up like a Christmas tree. But my point is that this is why a new GM's got to be patient.
Absolutely. From our friend Bill, looking ahead 2 summers to the Seattle expansion draft, that Zuccarello contract is really a lineup killer with his no movement clause. Are we looking at another buyout the year after buying out Rask?
Well, they're not going to. I mean, the no move clause means he can't be bought out. So if I'm understanding the question, Zuccarello, they're not buying him out. So you're right. Unless somebody's willing to waive their no move to allow another player to be protected, which can happen. Right now they're gonna lose a player that they probably don't want to.
A few more Twitter questions, then we're going to wrap up. Let Michael get to the rink. Reminder, December 11th, December 30th, 7 p.m. We'll be live at Tin Shed in Savage. Check them out at tinshedmn.com. They have coupons. They have all kinds of deals. They have lots of big screen TVs. We have a great time at our shows. We'd love to see you out there, and we can introduce you to some Grey Duck vodka. Also, remember that we have a deal with Bite Squad. Promo code is TalkNorth. And once you've used that once to get your free delivery fee waived, go to bitesquad.com, see what kind of deals they have in your area, see what kind of restaurants they deliver from. So Russo Slacks has a GIF on here. It's a finger constantly pressing a red button.
Yeah, I know. It's the most annoying.
Insta-buy.
Yeah. I mean, could there be a more annoying GIF? It's like giving me seizures when I stare at it every time it crosses my screen.
And the question attached to the GIF is, how was your Black Friday, Michael? Did you buy any candles, anything?
No, I didn't buy anything. Nothing. The only thing I did was bought 25 subscriptions of The Athletic last night for contest winners.
Oh,
which was so I did this thing. I don't know what came across me is that I did this thing where it was Cyber Monday. I was in a festive mood. I don't know why I was in a good mood. So I'm like, contest 10 people. Tell me why you deserve an Athletic subscription. I got like 350 replies. And of course I'm going through it and people are, giving me reasons why they really want to read The Athletic. Some of them were, some of them were heartfelt too. And I'm just like, well, I can't cut this to 10. I felt bad enough cutting it to 25. I wanted to pick 50 or 100 of them, but I bought 25 subscriptions. So right now I think my online spending has been maxed for the month because it was an expensive night for me. It was, and you know what's funny? So on the iPhone now, for some reason, every time I use my American Express, I get an advisory. I don't know what changed, but I get like a notification.
I get them on my iPad. I don't want them, but they show up there.
But it's so funny. Like right now, my notifications on my Amex is The Athletic, The Athletic, The Athletic, The Athletic, The Athletic. It's unbelievable. I bought so far 24, and I'm still waiting for like 2 others to reply. So. And I need to have them reply because I need to also send the email addresses into work because I sort of need my credit card taken off there. I'm going to be charged $60 every year when it's renewed. So anyway,
all right, let's buzz through a few more. From Matt Rostolin, your thoughts on how Capo Kakkonen performed, and will he get another start this season?
Well, he's starting tonight, and he was great in New Jersey. He was really good. He looked poised to me. Plays the puck really well, and we'll see tonight. He's got a hard task. This Florida team's on a 9-game homestand right now. Barkov is absolutely on fire. I was watching him in the locker room today. This is one chiseled guy. I mean, you could see why this guy is absolutely freaking unbelievable. And just watching him in the locker room today, he's a pro. Chatting with him. I was talking to a bunch of people in the locker room a lot. It was cool being in that Panthers locker room. It looked so different from when I covered him today. But Ed Jovanovski does TV for them now. Billy Lindsay does TV for them now. So I got to, chat it up with them, and they were telling me they were just singing the praises of Barkov. And the another guy that I met for the first time tonight, this morning, was Jeff Chikrin, Jacob Chikrin's dad. Jacob Chikrin is a stud player for the Arizona Coyotes. He's going to be absolutely awesome. He hails from Boca Raton, Florida, my hometown. And Jeff Chikrin, it was just really neat because I had never met Jeff Chikrin before. And he was telling me how when I was covering the Panthers, he used to read me every day and listen to me on WQAM. And now he's doing TV for the Florida Panthers. And this is like the most mild-mannered human being you'd ever met. And then I just Googled him because I wanted to refresh myself on his career. And this guy was a brute. I mean, Hershey Bears, 239 penalty minutes. Kingston Canadians, 206 penalty minutes. Philadelphia Flyers, 245, 248, 105 penalty minutes. His last year with the Cape Breton Oilers, 111 penalty minutes. So this guy was a bruiser, and you would not believe just how nice of a guy he was. but also just singing the praises of just everything that's going on right now with Quenneville, with a lot of these young guys on the, or it's hard to say. I mean, you look at Huberdeau, Ekblad, Barkov. I mean, they've been in Florida for a long, long time right now, and they're just getting better and better. These players.
I did not. I knew this was going to be a Florida reference show and an expansion draft show. I did not expect this many Florida references, but my clicker is worn out. Congratulations. Couple more.
Last night we go to dinner. It's LaPanta, me, Nanny, and Minervini, and an Italian restaurant. This really incredible Italian restaurant called Sardelli's, who I'd never been to. It's like a house on Hollywood Beach, and Gorg and Myers came to ruin it, but we had the last names ending in a vowel, A-E-I and O. We just needed a U. It was just the perfect, like the stereotypical 4 Italians at an Italian restaurant. But then Gorg and Myers showed up. But Craig Minervini, my best buddy, is the Panthers announcer, and Marlins, and we were just talking old stories. And the one that still, every time I come here, that just kind of warms my heart is the way that Craig Minervini and I met. You know, Craig, who is, if you know Craig, he used to be with Mean Gene Oakland when he was like his study with the WWF years ago in the late 80s. And he was, his stage name was Craig DeGeorge. So you might know him from that. But anyway, so I watched him growing up. He's only a little older than me. But I go to the West Palm Beach Blaze games first time. Bill Nyrup, who's from Edina, Minnesota, is the coach of the team, the GM of that team, the owner of the team, and the commissioner of this 4-team league. And Minervini was the play-by-play guy, and I was the beat writer for the Sun Sentinel in the early 90s. And that's how I met him. And we just started telling old Bill Nyrup stories last night. And every time I think about Bill Nyrup, who died way too soon in his young 40s, his dad was CEO of Northwest Airlines. It just warms my heart because honestly, I don't think I'm a hockey writer today if Bill Nyrup doesn't teach me the game. He just was so impressed that this teenager who was not getting paid at the time would go up and write these stories because he just loved covering this minor league hockey team for his newspaper. And he knew I wasn't getting paid. So he'd teach me systems. He'd teach me about just everything. I mean, from freaking icings and offsides to just everything about the sport. And so it was just cool last night, just having this conversation with Minervini about Bill Nyrup, who both he and I respected, but also just the fact that I moved to Minnesota in 2005 in the place where Bill Nyrup grew up, played his high school hockey, all that stuff before he went to Notre Dame, played for the North Stars, won cups with the Canadians. And then, and here I am, a hockey writer in Minnesota in the place that unfortunately I never got to see Bill, but because of the guy that really took me under his wing as a young kid.
That's great stuff. I'm glad we got to it. I got to go catch a flight, so we're going to do 1 or 2 more Twitter questions, then we're going to get rolling here from Chris LeBreche. When did you realize sports writing would be your profession? Were there other career paths for either of you in your 20s or 30s? You know what? That's a better live show question because that's a more of a storytelling long answer. Yeah. Let's save that for.
I want to see you miss your plane, though.
Say it again.
I want to see you miss your plane by you just freaking out in your hotel room because I won't shut up because that would be a long answer.
This has happened before. How about this one from Kyle? Who do you think is the best skater on the team? Michael's going to answer this one. Then we're going to wrap. I'm going to roll. Yeah. We will see you December 11th at 7 o'clock at Tin Shed in Savage, tinshedmn.com. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Brandon. Follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod. Last Twitter question. I'm sorry we didn't get to more Twitter questions. We promise to get to more as we go forward here. From Kyle, who do you think is the best skater on the team? To me, it's got to be Brodin or Zucker.
I would say Fiala going forward, like straight line, fast. I'd put Fiala over everybody on the Wild. Maybe Dumba, straight line. In terms of footwork, speed, skating backwards, turning on a dime, I'd go Brodin. So.
Good.
For the record, I wanted to do a much longer podcast, but Jim's ruining it because he decided to fly home somehow in the afternoon after a Monday night game.
Michael, I just think that 45 minutes of nothing but Florida stories is enough for one day.
I have so many more to tell, too.
All right, we'll save them for December 11th at Tin Shed. I'll ask about Florida, then I can take a walk, and you can tell all your Florida stories at once.
Have a safe flight.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. music in the bars and fire in the sky. We went to the beach and it was covered in ice, and I used to call it home. So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world won't forgive a winner.
Security threats are everywhere. But with Xfinity XFi, you're notified of threats to your in-home Wi-Fi network, so all your connected devices are protected. That's simple, easy, awesome. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit today. Restrictions apply.